lockers. Okay, just give me a lockout for a couple of minutes while I What's that, mate? It's cool, man. Okay, there's my application. Okay, still got good on shot. Let's. Ian Lawson. Oh, okay, yeah, I know the name. Yeah, it's John Carley, isn't it? Right, let's get this. Sure, I've got to take this board off, man. It's okay, folks. Should we do a little? I don't know if people are going to pick me up. Are we going to? Okay, I need to just check my audio's working, Julie. That's all. Can you hold on a second? Shut him in the room. Shut him in the room. Oh, that is funny, man. Oh my god. Okay, just check your audio, Julie. Just check your audio, yeah? Just check your audio quickly. Okay, we're all good. We're all good. Okay, folks. Welcome everybody to a just hold on, Julie. Just can you turn your mic off for a second, Julie? Just yeah. Cheers. Welcome, folks. East Midlands Airport, EMA. If you're looking on your radar apps, whatever app you might be using. We're here for just this one arrival and then a turnaround freight. It's a freighter. It's a Boeing 747 with AirBridgeCargo. It's a regular here every Sunday. And of course, ABC, have, as well as all the other freighter companies, the likes of Cargo Logic International and so on and so forth, have been regularly bringing PPE flights in here. But now it's more predominantly a mixture of PPE and general freight. Of course, we're looking at the DHL hub, which is to the right of us. That's the western. You're right for getting out there, fella? Oh, right, okay. A little bit of packed down here at East Midlands. Got John and, was it Ian? Yeah, it's Ian. Here, Ian very kindly bringing me a Swiss roll to have a little munch on a little bit later on. But anyway, so we are waiting for ABC's 747. It is a -8. She's just about, want to almost wish her happy birthday because it is almost 3 years since she was delivered from Boeing to, I think she went straight to AirBridgeCargo as it happens. But AirBridgeCargo, this aircraft coming in from Moscow, having vectored from Hong Kong to Moscow. Whether that was or was PPE to Moscow and then Moscow to here is possibly PPE. We'll see when she parks up. We'll see I find it unlikely that they're going to be loading or unloading through the nose. It's more likely through the main cargo door at the side. So with any luck, she'll be parking sort of like at a 45-degree angle to us, and we'll be able to see what's coming off that aircraft. Should take around about 2 hours to turn her around. They are literally landing into a direct headwind, so we'll get her going out. Hopefully she'll make a long run of it. This is another runway here at East Midlands, folks, which is it's got quite a dip to it. So obviously between the dip, it's a long way. It's not like a whoop-de-doo section. But we'll talk more about East Midlands itself and about the cargo hub here. This is the West Cargo Hub, as I explained. You have the east side over there where we can see Cargo Logic have got their Boeing 737 freighter, which we see quite a lot of on LinkedIn, but very rarely anywhere else. And of course, they are extending this hub all the way down even further. And to the far left of me is a massive, probably the biggest e-commerce distribution centre or receipt centre you've ever seen in your life. I think it's primarily Amazon Prime, but that needs to be confirmed. Got a FedEx, what looks like a FedEx 767, DHL 757. I think that's, what was the name? Well, we'll get on with the show, folks, and we'll talk about East Midlands, and we'll talk about everything else. Hope you're well, and here comes an aircraft into land now. I think it's Ryanair. Okay. You there, Julie? Or are you? Okay. I'm just going to grab this. I think this is Ryanair, so this is... or Jet 2 or something like that, but oh, it's ASL, right, okay, there we go. Wow, 30-year-old 737, folks. Wow, 737-400, that's an old girl, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Is it all white? Is it all white? So we'll talk about the jumbo jet, maximum takeoff weight, maximum cargo, capacity and weight. You can see the windsock in the shot there, folks. ASL 737-400. She's an old girl. She's got a spare engine cowl there, I think. Yeah, it's gold, or you can see in the background there, folks. DHL 757. What was the name of that? No, Air Atlantic, isn't it? Yeah, 737 from Ireland, I think. Yeah, that's definitely a borrowed engine cowl, isn't it? Wow, look at that. She's a freight dog, man. Proper freight dog. So she'll head down to the eastern cargo hub. The ABC 747 that we're going to be filming, folks, she will go straight down to the western cargo hub. It's a regular here every Sunday. I think it is a regular leg. Hong Kong, Moscow, East Midlands. Popular spot here for people to hang out, watch the planes. Just coming into shot any moment now, folks. You're going to see that Cargo Logic 737 coming into shot there. So I think mainly sort of e-commerce, although she's probably been doing PPE as well, I'd imagine, but not a great deal of it, just because obviously she's not a long-haul aircraft per se. This particular 737 in from Milan Malpensa. Just to give you an idea of sort of like, oh, sorry, okay. So I've got a very strong headwind, but you should be getting a lot of that covered by the case of the Terradeck. So everybody thank the case of the Terradeck. FedEx 767, I think. DHL 757. And there's your West Atlantic 737, which is mainly for post. A little bit of e-commerce, but mainly on behalf of Her Royal Majesty and the UK Postal Service. Parcels and other stuff, e-commerce as well, of course. So quite how far they've got with it at this stage, folks, I'm not sure, but certainly in planning is the extended cargo hub. Where's it going? It's going right to the end of that apron there, I think. Yeah, I've got a little bit of radio, which is nice. It's somebody else's radio, and mountain bikers there, look. Go on, son. Go on, son. So we're right by the gates, folks. Security team's been past us, obviously seeing that we're not blocking the access area here at the front of the gates. Obviously a very popular spot to come and chill out. Lots of parking down here. Social distancing sort of like working as it should do. Just give you guys a little look back there. See all the way down this lane here. So that wind has just dropped very. So let me just recap what we're doing here, ladies and gents. Now, East Midlands, in terms of its cargo capacity and its volume, is only second to London Heathrow, believe it or not. Even though, from, just looking visually here, it certainly seems that they've got more sort of like dedicated freight. I mean, that's a huge. I'm sure that's a bigger DHL hub here at East Midlands than the one at Heathrow, for example. because obviously the one at Heathrow this is where they fly out all the F1 cars from as well, or most of them, I believe. Somebody saying yesterday 6 747s dedicated to the Formula One race teams. That's something I'd love to see, but we're hoping to see this 747 come into. It's just these things to be sort of like sitting here all day long, would you? You've got the ground power unit there. And, really? How can that be? Is that one person saying that, or is that a lot of people saying that? Turn your sound up if... Is it? I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll angle the mic out a little bit. Don't forget, I have got this double wind buffeting, anti-buffeting cover on, so I could take it off, but I don't really want to because it worked perfectly yesterday. I haven't done anything different to the mic from yesterday. Is that a little bit better? Because I'm actually pointed it upwards a little bit further. Anyway. So quite a considerable hub. So the 747 will likely, I'd imagine, either do a full run out. Obviously, it's going to be relatively empty, light in terms of its not so much its capacity, but its weight. If it's carrying PPE, I don't know what she's carrying, folks. So we'll have to wait. But it will be the left-hand side freight door. They'll also obviously use the forward belly cargo as well, but that's the exit point for full length arrival. Either that, or she'll be light enough to turn off just about there, which is what's that, Alpha 6. That is the turn off point, but that'll all be pre-arranged and preset, as you can see. Some of these jets that have been sitting here for months, hopefully just getting these things back to working this flying condition once again. Okay, let's talk to the animals, shall we? Stand by. Oh, there we go. No F1 spoilers. Brilliant, it's pinged as well. Please, please. There we go. Brian Moss, good afternoon to you. Adrian MG53 Bulldog 617. A lot of people staying up late last night for that. Well, I say late last night, very early in the morning for the air show from Cedar Creek in Texas. Apparently, which one was it? What was it that flew 0 feet across the lake? The Vampire. When you say the Vampire, you're talking about the old school jet that used to, like, with a twin boom on it. It's got like a twin boom on it. Yeah. Wow, proper old school. I remember that. Yeah. The Vampire. Well, back in the old days, back when I were a lad, it used to be the Vampire and the Meteor that used to be the joint aircraft. But anyway, hoping to have a look at that later. I was long gone by that time, folks. But it was apparently went on quite a long time. Great to watch. Some great displays. Did the A-10 tank bomber display? Did it? Yeah, the A-10. Wow. Yeah. Mustang P51 and the Flying Fortress F-35. Wow, yeah. So the F-35 and the P51 displayed together, did they? Or wow, Imagine how much derated and pulled back on the throttles that fella in the F-35 must have been, whilst the poor little P-51's probably at full chat. Got Ryanair 737 coming out. Look at this, folks. Where's she going? Let's just find out where she's going. Look, this is the first live departure from East Midlands since the beginning of the... let's just see if we can get him coming. Let's see if we can get him where I am at right now. Tenerife. How about that? Heading to Tenerife. We'll obviously talk more about AirBridgeCargo, their origins and where they're from. If you've got any information on them, please share it on the comments, folks. Always look forward to that. And we'll talk about the 747. You know, its capabilities. Of course, very sad news to hear that the 747 production line just has another 2 years left with Boeing. But the way I look at it is, let's throw a positive spin on it and say, well, they could make at least another half dozen 747-8s in that time between now and in 2 years. I don't know. I mean, maybe UPS have just taken delivery of one of their brand new 747s. Who knows? Cargolux maybe. Maybe UPS again will be dependent on demand, of course. It's most efficient aircraft in terms of its capabilities. Wow, right next to Donington here, folks, and you're going to pick up someone's testing out at Donington. Either they're testing or there's some kind of is there a race going on at Donington today? Sounds like a bike. Anyway, yeah, I don't know, it might be an F3 car or something like that. Welcome everybody. Bulldog 617. Did the F16 display after I left? Did the F16 display period? Did it? GP? No, it didn't. They ran out of time, Bulldog, which is a shame. Well, I've got something special for you folks. I've got an F16 display which is tagged on to the end of it. Finishes off the Farnborough edit that we put together, which was the insane thing about the Farnborough edit is that it actually took me longer to put that together than it would do to cut, say, an 8-hour show from Toulouse. Just because there's so much interference on that piece that we called it shortcuts, because it is we put music to some of it, but you'll be glad to hear that the likes of the F16 has no music, just pure engine. And I think he does, I'd say 80% of the show on afterburner. And at one stage, as he comes past us in the on the slow pass, which is almost like a stall run, nose pitched high in the air, you can actually see the nozzles of the engine glowing red. Incredible, man. Okay, this guy's actually waiting for somebody inbound. There's definitely some kind of practice going on. Just have a search of Donington, Gillian. Just have a Donington on. Sounds like a bike race. It might be going out for practice, or it's a warm-up lap for a race, or... There we go, bike track day. So that's privateers taking their bikes to the track. Some pros possibly getting their eye in again, but mainly all as a track day is where you take your bike, run what you brung, basically, like they do at Sanderpod. Anyway. Oh, easy, son. Right, blustery. Yeah, that's quite a blustery approach here. How about that? It's another freighter, is it? Is it another freighter? That was funny, man. Oh. Yeah, but that seems like an age for a cat, doesn't it? It's like, especially when all the noise is going on outside, like all the other cats having fun and like, you know. So this is another ASL 737, folks, but this one with her livery. It's another old 400. Yes, AirBridgeCargo we're waiting for, folks. Was it Bravo? What was it? Was it Bravo Yankee? If you're looking on Plane Finder, folks, check it out on your radars, on your radar apps. So this will, again, mainly be e-commerce, post, documentation. Okay, so now we're going to get an idea of the takeoff run. I'd imagine that it's a decent length runway here at East Midlands. So chances are this guy will be up long before he reaches us. And there is actually a ramp. He actually goes into a dip about 400 yards in. As you can see there's the dip there. Quite clearly a dip there. And then rises out of the dip. Around about there. We'll see where he goes. And of course with the prevailing winds. This isn't powered by Yamaha 750 engines, folks. That's Donington you're hearing in the background. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is a great shot, man. Yeah. Oh, that's going to be awesome for the departure, man. Yeah. Okay, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. We should do something with that, really, because it might be nothing special, but it is for the community, the world community. Well, us in the UK here. First commercial flight, that'd be great, wouldn't it? If that was the first commercial flight, but of course it wasn't. But anyway, TCC, very nice shot from this angle. Glad you're enjoying it, folks. Nice big tall control tower here at East Midlands. Of course, got some great contacts here at East Midlands, and we are I'll have a word with ABC next week, see if because this is a regular flight. I just need to see what's coming off of it, because what you've got to appreciate, ladies and gents, is it's usually it's always about the client. It's always about the client. So if your client's got something specific that's on board this aircraft, they're sometimes very sensitive about people seeing what it is. Not so much people, but other companies seeing what they are shipping. So you know, there's a veil of secrecy that almost looks like I was going to say Continental, but United there from an angle, doesn't it? Like, if I just quickly do that, you know, oh look, it's United. No, it's not. But ASL. Blustery conditions here. Nice place to go walk the dog around the perimeter fence. Look, runs all the way up and around, which is pretty cool. You just see the roofs there of the you can see the roofs of the distribution centre with Amazon, I think it is. As you can see there, the sock's pretty blustery as well. Okay, so let's put a lock out. It's the East Hub down there. If you remember, if you look back in the YouTube library, folks, you'll see the piece that we did here live airside with Johan Reed Aspley and Conan the Barbarian. No, Conan Busby. Yeah, Conan Busby, wasn't it? Mark Wallace, Jazz M, Mike Ward, Alison Baker, look at everybody here. Chris Scapaloo, Ian Austin, Michael Kay, Karen Corcoran. Sorry, what's that? What is what? Cancelled? Oh, for God's sake. Right, okay, so I thought you were saying it sounds like that she's cancelled. Okay, sorry man, it's got very, very difficult, very hard for me to hear. Sorry man. Stephen Owers. Okay, thanks. South of Chelmsford, ABC heading straight towards my house in Essex, Stephen Owers saying. Noah Hart is there. Is that Noah Hart from yesterday with his sister, Noah and Eva, wasn't it? No, okay, Noah. Anyway, never mind. He's just got a picture of Archie there. Fantastic. Martin, Ralph, bilge pump. I'm gonna have to. A bilge pump is literally, it's a specific type of pump, isn't it? That brings up water from deep down in the depths of the earth or something, isn't it? A bilge pump? I don't know. Teenager in sack. Good day to you, Rab H, Angela Cooper, Brody Wolf, MD Hewitt. What are we here for, folks? Just to recap, AirBridgeCargo 747-8 freighter, inbound from Moscow. Going to do about a 2-hour turnaround. She's going to be offloaded at the over at the DHL hub, and we'll sort of like cover that. And then we'll get her going out as well. Brody Wolf, thank you, ABC near Chelms for gas masks and marigolds. That's interesting. Is that a song? Karen Corcoran, Martin, Ralph, Luke Cook, Gareth Davis. I'll tell you what. If it's anything like this when I get back down to Heathrow, we're definitely going to go out. Don't forget, folks, that I am. Sacrificing the Formula One today, so I would really appreciate it if we can have not any Formula One spoilers, not even anything like my mum used to say when I used to ring her up. Don't tell me about the Formula One, mum. Oh no, it's all right. It's not worth watching anyway. It's like, oh, thanks. You know what I mean? Mums are brilliant, aren't they? Well, I thought I was helping you. You know, no. Ian Austin saw the AN22 at East Midlands years ago. Well, they bring the IL76, the AN124. They've had the 225 in here as well as the AN12, of course, folks. Good Sunday afternoon to you, Jerry Architect. Good afternoon to you, Michael K, Rab H, Sandy 4231 BEA Trident. Phil Loxham, Chubbs 69 UK. Good day to you, David Edwards. Ruth Cole, giving a shout out to Joey. Is it Joey's birthday today? Happy birthday, Joey. Tim Bell, Mark Appleby, joining late tonight. Jerry, sorry, Australia, Sandy 321. Well, the fact that you're here, Sandy, is great to see you here. Thank you very much indeed. Noel Fitzgerald, a picture of Gillian, Big Jet TV. T-shirt. Interesting. Okay. Why would you want that? You know, I don't know. But anyway, and why not? Why not? No, sorry. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I mean, it's like, you know, it's not like, you know, it's like having a picture of me on a T-shirt. You know, people are going to walk down the high street like, who the hell's that you got on your T-shirt? You know. But anyway. Oh my good God. Right. Okay. That's interesting. Well. Yes, I guess. Ben Rigney, good day to aviation freaks. Good, of course, good day. What is it? Is just 2:15 in the afternoon here. She's on schedule. She's on time, folks. So sorry about the windy conditions. Obviously, there's nothing we can do about that. We've got double cover up on the mic, so you should be getting the full blast of the wind. If I take it out of its comfort zone and put it directly into the wind, you might see that it is a little bit more blustery. What's that like, Jilly? What's that? Is that a little bit more blustery, that wind? No different. Someone's just thrown me food. People are throwing food at me. I think I should be balancing a red ball on my nose or something, really, at this stage. They're going to bring out a bucket of fish in a minute. Thank you. Thanks, man. There's someone down there just saying, thank you. Threw a Kit Kat at me. Have a break, eh? But she's apparently on her way, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, that's pretty intense, that wind. Chris Schonenberger is a new member of Big Jet TV. Good afternoon to you. Joey, hey, it is his birthday today. Whether that's a Joey as in Fly, good morning to you. Gary Goodchild, Ron DeJager, Jeff Anderson, Paul Skilling, Zoe Black, yeah. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, blimey. How long was that down there for? Sometimes it happens. Another new member, Jack Williams. G'day, Jack. Zoe Black, no mini rolls. Although I say Ian did actually greet me as I pulled up with a Swiss roll. So I have now a Kit Kat and a mini roll to eat on the way back. BEA tried 757, love it. Interesting to see that DHL have got that 757 down there in the East Hub, when you know they've got a dedicated hub up to my right on the west side. But anyway, so the chances are, like I discussed, folks, this aircraft will offload her cargo through the side doors. We'll have to have a little look and see. We'll be able to clearly see what's coming off the aircraft, and it's easy to be able to identify if it is indeed PPE. I don't know what gate she's going to go or what stand she's going to go into, because there seems to be quite a lot of freight there at the moment, which is waiting to be loaded. So which flights they're for, we don't know. Whether it's, I tell you what, that looks like that might be that stand there with that amount of freight there. Do we have an aircraft that's started up over there? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and put my bleeding jacket on. Hold on a minute. Chocky things. Angela Cooper, I will be standing underneath her as she comes in. Wow, lucky you, Angela. Obviously to my left, somewhere down there. Let's see if I can pick her up now. Is it? Okay. Well. Interestingly enough, no. Okay, just over Milton Keynes. No, just check it. It might be my app. Is it? Oh, okay. Well then, let me close that app and start. Well, I just did. No, that's just it. I put EMA on this morning. EMA. Ah, right. Okay, I got you. Execute. Okay. Oh, there she is. I got her. AirBridgeCargo. So she is, don't know what she's carrying in terms of weight, folks, coming in from Moscow. So I'd imagine that it is probably, I think she's gone Hong Kong, Moscow, Hong Kong to for PPE, then Moscow to pick up perhaps general cargo, and then. But you know, sometimes folks, they might even could have an engine on board, but in general, it is it's a weekly flight, so shouldn't be anything sort of like out of this world, if you know what I mean. But it will be out of this world because we're seeing a 747. But there we go. And she is currently 11,000 feet and descending. John Griffin, I like waiting for a 747 to land. Yeah, well, I think that's what most people are actually here for today, to be honest with you. Ian Austin just flew over Olney, Ravage. 12,000 feet, Mighty Enid, thank you. ABC Need, Northampton, Brody Wolf. Ian Whelan, not full of larders. Phil Sky, good afternoon to you. Mind you, back in the day, you could obviously fill it full of larders. Paul MK got a few pictures as she went over the top. Let's jump over to Facebook, say hello to a few people. Sun comes out, which never seen that before. Bluebird, never seen that before. Have we ever seen that before? There's going to be a lot of people who. Oh, have we? Oh, okay. Bluebird. ATR 72, I think is a 72 down there. We saw that when we were here last time as well. That looks like that might have gone tech, that aircraft. I don't know. She's just West Air Europe. Are they operational, or have they parked that up there? Is there a reason why that's not flying? Obviously, these aircraft in high demand in terms of e-commerce and general EC freight, and what's that? No. Okay, good afternoon everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube. Not going to be as quiet as 2,200 people. Richard Mortara, Bluebird cargo airline uses 737s, been around for a good few years now. Well, first time for me, I'll be honest with you, unless I've seen it and I'd never picked it up in the past. But there we go. Yvonne Heelan, good afternoon to you. Lynn Keeble, hello. Jed Kenyon, she is north of Northampton. That's talking obviously about the 747. Oh, they're Bluebird are in Dublin, are they? Wow. Really? I would remember that, man. I'd remember that. I'm sure I would. Tara. Rich Bushel, morning, Jerry from Mooresville. Is that North Carolina? NC? New Kansas. NC. Okay. Rob Kidger. Hi, loving this. It's my birthday today. Welcome and happy birthday, Rob Kidger. I think so. I'm getting shipped from the US at some point and hope it does not take months to get to me. Hayden, I have things that I'm getting shipped from the US at some point, and I hope it does not. Oh, right, okay. Well, to be honest with you, depends on the. It's not so much, I don't think, anymore on the postal service, on the logistics of it. I think it's more a case of the company that you've ordered it from, whether they've still got a fully operational team that can fulfill your order, because procurement is one thing, shipping is another. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously the procurement of the order and then the actual shipping of it, I don't think that's going to be any delay on that, but it would be more the case of whether or not the company has got a full contingent of staff to be able to pack the bleeding thing. Joe Lynn, in fact, that's why we're waiting for something to come from the US as well. So it may be delayed. Jim Lewis, thank you for service to shipmate. Stephen Marler, thank you very much indeed, Stephen, for sending 100 stars. Nicholas Peter Brown's watching. Colin Beck, Mark Sinclair. Mooresville is 30 miles north of Charlotte. Rich Bushell saying Charlotte, North Carolina. I think that's right. Charlottesville. Good afternoon to everybody watching. Thank you, Rich Bushell. Hey man, how you doing? Good, thank you. I think she's going to fly over my house at 4,000 feet. Stephen Carter saying, lucky you, man. Well, obviously the skies are broken cloud. Anybody under the flight path of that 747 should be able to catch her. Most definitely, I would have thought. Just have another look. That's the cargo centre, the West Cargo Centre, where we're going to see this 747 parking up, and I think that it's going to be somewhere around about there. Just purely my guess, based on the amount of pallets and cargo that's sitting there, looking like it's ready to be loaded, which means that's quite interesting. So, is she going back to Moscow from here? Is the question. It's a regular Sunday flight, folks. This isn't anything special in terms of, like, you know, once in a blue moon. AirBridgeCargo regularly fly into East Midlands. AirBridgeCargo being linked with the Volga Dnieper group as well, and of course the Volga Dnieper group, for all you keen aviation fans out there and your lovers of the Ilyushin IL-76, the Antonov aircraft, of course the Maria AN-225, the AN-124, and the AN-224. Sorry, me going blank moment, quickly, think about it. No, AN-120, 225 IL-76 is, and the AN-12 as well, of course, which is the big old smoky prop aircraft. No 224, ladies and gentlemen. That's me going off on a tangent there. Of course, the AN-225 is the big lump, which I saw a great picture on LinkedIn this week of the AN-225 literally swallowing a carriage of a train, an entire train going out to Japan or something like that. Insane, man, insane. Just you know, just goes to show the scale of the aircraft and its capabilities. What is also really impressive with the Russian, the big Russian aircraft like that, is that they sometimes, in fact a lot of the times, they actually will fabricate their own. They will fabricate their own rail track system to load the whatever it is on. So they had to build an entire track system assembly to get that train onto the aircraft. So there's a lot goes into freight when you think about it. They don't. Sometimes they're able to lift this stuff and put it on the ramp, but generally they have to build ramps and sometimes equipment specifically for a specific job. So, you know, and then of course, oh hello, I thought I heard a helicopter. Down to 3,000 feet, folks. Turning on the finals. She'll be about 10 miles out now, I would have thought. Something like that. This is a long way out of the distance. try and get that. Wow. There she is. Don't forget, folks, this is the Dash 8, designated the Dash 8 purely because she utilises a lot of the Dreamliner electronics on the flight deck, and also, of course, using those Gen X engines as used on the Dreamliner jets as well. This is, of course, the oh, is it now? Come on, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, come on, son. It's actually the twinkling of those landing lights, folks, that actually confuses the sensor on the camera, which makes it go in and out of focus. So it's not something that you can basically control in any way, even with a manual focus. At this stage, you could be pinging it in and out of manual, but to be honest with you, we generally, because it's such a easy to use point and shoot camera, we'll just leave it as it is. Gear coming down now. Noticeably bigger engines. was going to go. Okay, so that's engine shut down. Now, see what happens. I don't know if they're going to have the cruise step. Sorry, man. How's it going?
No, I'm just not.
Interesting to see whether they get cruise steps up there. Whether there is it's only a 2-hour turnaround, folks. So that's you know, we have seen it quicker. To be honest with you, we saw an entire offload of PPE in 1 hour at Stansted a while back. So what will happen is we will get the. Let's just wait to see whether we get. We'll leave it out on that shot at the moment because obviously the aft huge cargo door that you'll see open. I don't think they're bringing anything in through the nose today, folks. It's just going to be through the side. But interesting to see whether they actually put the crew steps up there. Whether the crew will disembark. I'd imagine they will. I would imagine they will, if anything, so that they can do a visual, a walk-around inspection before the aircraft departs in around about an hour, 2 hours' time. Dane Grayson, I agree. The original old shorter hump on the 747 freighters gives it that traditional look, as opposed to the big, long, extended upper deck that you see on the commercial jets. In fact, there we go. The crew steps being, access steps being, interestingly enough, yeah, I think they're going up. A little drive around. Just keep an eye on the door will be opened by either the loadmaster who's on board the aircraft, or a member of the ground team offloading the aircraft here. I think they possibly utilise DHL as the handling agents or handling team here on the ground at East Midlands. Not 100% sure on that, but I'm sure somebody will let me know for sure. And of course we will see the that huge cargo door opening up quite soon. Just literally where all those white marks are. In fact, you can see the upper line of the door there. That's the huge door where they very effectively can move very large, awkward pieces in and out of that aircraft, and that's all about the skills of the handling teams, and of course the loadmasters, and of course the companies that pre-plan all of this freight, because obviously the more you plan it, the better you plan it, the quicker the turnaround, the less fuel you burn, the less fees are, etc, etc. So obviously what is key for these folks in the freight industry is to get that aircraft turned around and out of town as quickly as possible. Yeah, man. Go ahead, fella. Yeah, okay, hold on. I'm afraid I'm all out. Sorry about that. You know, GP? Okay. Cool. Right. What have we got? Let's just have a little look. Keep an eye on the... got a Ryanair 737 coming out. We will catch that, folks, because it was... Even though it's single aisle stuff, it is pretty spectacular. The angle, the position that we're at in terms of the rotation point. So maybe a little engine inspection going on there, or is that possibly quad fly? Yes, it is a 747. How could you well, I mean, hey, not everybody's expected to know, are they, in terms of what is a 747 and what is not a 747, unless you know your aircraft. That could be anything. It could be a AN225. It could be any kind of aircraft. If you don't know your aircraft, Stevie Lusk pushing the steps in by hand. Yeah. Last little bit is obviously. Generally, everything that sort of like, you know, hooks up to an aircraft has to be done sort of manually and carefully, because the last thing you want is to be driving the thing into the side and smashing against the side of an aircraft. That's the loader for the side door. Okay, that was is that one of the scissor jacks? I can't really see it from here, just because of the looked like a ah, yes it is, yes, of course, because it's DHL, it's yellow. There we go. Yeah, that's the scissor jack loader for the in fact I don't think it's a scissor jack, actually. It might just, no, it will be a scissor jack system. So they'll be waiting for that side door to open up. That'll be more than likely one of the ground crew, or it's something that's done inside the cabin. It's I think there's a system of opening the door from the cockpit as well as the nose operation as well. But generally, there are stations along the fuselage inside where there's a station that has joysticks, controls, buttons to sort of like press what systems, what floor systems they want to activate, and so on and so forth, because obviously all the rollers act with their motors in order that you can literally you don't have to touch any. Most of the offloading and loading is automated. Let's just catch this 737. I don't want to really miss the just opening the door up there. Let's just catch this. So we'll be able to get some kind of an idea of what freight she's actually carrying once we see the actual pallets, or the pallets themselves. ULDs, unit load devices, will be packed in the belly, if at all, but in general it will be stacked freight inside that main cabin. John Grinham, I remember Polar Air Cargo 747 at Birmingham. Harrison Fensom, that see you later, mate. That's off. See ya. That's off to Rome, apparently. That what's that, mate? Cool, man. Okay, so crew still. You know, sometimes it may be just a small amount of freight coming off before it heads off to its next destination, unless of course it is bringing stuff in from Hong Kong via Moscow, or it dropped off whatever it had from Hong Kong in Moscow and is bringing stuff in from just purely from Moscow. I'm not sure, but that's something that we will only see once we Is that all right, GP? Is that wind all right? What's that, mate? Oh, okay, lick it, yeah? Yeah, can I hold on? Oh, we're going to lick it. I've got some spray. Don't chew it. It's going to lick the fan. Did you hear that, Chilly? That was funny. He said, I'm just going to lick the van. Flying Tigers, yeah, remember those days, ladies and gentlemen. The Flying Tigers. Like I say, here comes the fuel truck. Still waiting to actually open the door, aren't they? Which is quite interesting. Fully PPE'd up, of course. Face masks, that is. Andy Budd, did you see the picture I posted on the fan zone from Google Maps? Oh yeah, we've seen that one, Andy. Thank you. Lee Davis supporter Nickers, Keith Cornell, Bobby Fitzsimmons, Paul MK, Andy Aviation, Jeff Anderson. I worked for Flying Tigers back in 1980. Wow, back in the days. Okay, the door is now open, and the crew are CL44s. Wow, there we go. Stephen Luscombe, CL44 Swingtail, the old Canadair CL44s. Tradewinds used to fly the CL44s out of London Gatwick. Remember those back in the day when my dad was sort of like still flying the DC-8s. Silkway? You serious? Wow, had absolutely no idea. Dan Air, thank you. Another 747 due to EMA, approximately 30 minutes. Silkway 747. Oh, is that Doncaster or yeah, because I know Silkway been going into Donny. Air Peak One, good morning to you, Ian Wellen. Didn't they use DC-8s? Who's that? The Canadair CL44 with Tradewinds. I think Tradewinds was all CL44s, to be honest with you. They might have had, no, I think it was all CL44s. Jeff Anderson has offloaded a CL44 for swingtail variant, I guess. They also had front-loading doors, I think, on their CL44. Crazy looking thing. Tom Smith Silkway 747 is headed for Doncaster. So there we go, folks. False alarm. It's not coming into EMA. Possibly around about 90 tons of fuel going on board that 747. Jane Beret, happy birthday to you, Jane, today. Still a very young Jane Beret. Congratulations. Oh, Flying Tigers using DC-8s, yes, of course. CL44 from, yeah, back in the day, the old school. Don't want to miss that door opening up. I'm going to eat that. I'm going to eat that Kit Kat. Thank you to that lady and her family who bought me that Kit Kat. I mean, what an absolute lovely thing to do. Thank you so much. And Ian's down there. He greeted me with a mini roll, which I will probably eat before I leave here. Actually, knowing me. Vanguard, remember the Vanguard? Oh yeah. I've got to keep a close eye on this because I don't want to sort of like bore you with that shot. What's that, mate? Yeah, give me a couple of minutes, fella, because I'm just waiting for the door to open up, yeah? Okay, fine. Thanks, man. Wow, listen to that. 15 747s inbound to Anchorage today. 36 747s have departed there in the last 9 hours. Oh, here it comes now. So there's only a large cargo door on the left-hand side. It's not on the right-hand side. Belly cargo door. So there you go, folks. So that's PPE. I'm pretty sure that is PPE that we're looking at right there. Just we'll get a much better, a much clearer idea of what it is once it's out on the loader. I'm gonna have to put my new ski goggles on. Look like a bit of a twerp, but tell you what, keeps the Yeah. Right, okay. Now, the big question is you there, Julie? Okay, sorry. I can hardly see a thing with these goggles, but I'm hoping. Okay, so we have the, do we have the first, has the first pallet come off yet? Has the first one come off yet? We don't know yet, no? Okay, let me read some comments. Okay, sorry folks, as soon as I got down on the ground, about 20 people wanted selfies, which is quite funny. It was brilliant, man. It's great, man. Called a little girl a little fella, so which is quite embarrassing, but no! Colin, forgive me, mate, but I'm not talking about anything about Formula One. Thank you. No Formula One chat. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, these definitely need a clean, a clear screen as opposed to mini roll delivery. 747 full of mini rolls. Obviously, far more important than mini rolls. That's for sure. Selfie with me and the Vanguard horse. I've actually got a picture of the Vanguard horse. I didn't mean to get it. Do you remember the one with the hair, with the parted hair, with the and then there's him in laughing at me in front of the van as well, isn't there? Are you able to put that? You're not able to put that up during the show, are you? You can't put. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. There's one of him with his hair parted, and there's the other one of him laughing at me at the, you know. He's sitting. Yes. Yeah. Okay, I can just about say I'm gonna have to get this same goggle. These goggles, these specific ones that I bought, folks, are actually made specifically for being able to wear with glasses. But it looks a bit like one of those, one of the helmets that the old fighter pilots wear, you know, with the little head-up display internally within the goggles. Brody Wall's working in the garden. Mind you don't chop that rose bush down accidentally. Snip! Oops. EGPX. I'm fairly new here. Are mini rolls an in-joke? Yes. Well, it's not so much a joke, EGPX. I just like mini rolls. Yeah, that's about it really. And people are caught onto it and they go down Sainsbury's. And of course, everywhere I go now, instead of it being a McDonald's as it used to be, it's now a mini roll. So a very crazy thing, really. Okay, you want to have a look at me goggles? Have a look at me goggles? Okay, let's have a look at me goggles. Okay. It's nothing special. That's all it is. That's it. We're here for gotta be honest with you, it's quite taking their time. I guess they're shifting stuff around. Of course, don't forget, folks, you have to take all the weights and measures into consideration with loading on offloading an aircraft, a freighter jet. Of course, you can't leave. It has to come off from the back forwards, if you see what I mean, obviously, and vice versa. You have to load it on and then load it all the way to the front and then come back towards the rear, because otherwise the thing will tip over. It's quite simple, sort of like, you know, physics in terms of weights and balances. And we're hoping to do a show with those guys at some point in time. The guys that actually work with Cargo Logic on their weights and balances, pre-plan everything so that they can turn the aircraft around a lot quicker. Like we said before, I know when we covered the Cargo Logic 747, she was going out to Atlanta from Stansted. They put about 90 tons of fuel on board her. So around about 4 hours, just over 4 hours flight from here to Moscow. So it depends on where this aircraft's actually headed after it leaves here. I don't really know. Steve Partridge, yes, checking the paperwork. I don't know. I mean, I know what you're saying, but that kind of stuff is all pre-done, but yeah, I mean, cross-checking and all that kind of stuff, I'm guessing. Jet TV snaffle, right, mate? It's all about the CG, centre of gravity. Of course it is. That's exactly it, Stevie Luscombe. All about centre of gravity. So, if they had a significantly, I'd imagine that you're talking about working from the wing, the centre section, back or forwards, depending upon the distribution and the amount of freight you're putting on the aircraft. So, you know, obviously the centre of gravity being the centre of the aircraft. So, over the wing is going to be your initial sort of like, you know, balance point that you're going to work out from, I'd imagine. Oh, Sam Beck saying this 747 might leave to Leipzig. That Sam Beck is a youngster who just came up to me. It's funny, isn't it? When you think of someone who comments on your stream regularly, I thought he was a fully blown adult, for crying out loud. But he's only about 11 years old or something. He knows his stuff, old Sam Beck, doesn't he? See you later, man. Take care, yeah. All the best. Thank you. It's great. It's great to have the kids so knowledgeable, you know, more knowledgeable than me in some ways. But you know, don't forget to top off. Scott Tarpley, great setup here at East Midlands. Indeed, it is. So it looks like that first load might be coming out soon. Scissor jack offload system, which will push one. There it comes now. That'll go onto the loader. That will then be pushed forward. The scissor jack will lower it. The other one will come out behind it, so they can basically put two pallets on top of that loader assembly. The other one will push the other one literally out onto the scissor jack, and then the scissor jack will lower, and then they'll start to be able to put that pallet onto another pallet that's basically on wheels, which will then be towed off. You'll see the whole thing as it unfolds, basically, ladies and gents. Gusta rhymes. Gusta rhymes. Gusta rhymes. Many big planes coming in today, chaps. Is that London Heathrow, Gusta? Buster. hit on the beat, wah, 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 with a rock steady beat. Da, 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 who's the oldest here? Oh, Ron Clark is 71. I'm not far off of you, Ron, but what am I, 4 years off of Ron? 67? No, I mean, I'm 57. What the? I'll get me coat. Yeah. Sorry, mate. Yeah. I'm 57, and I'm 57, and am I 57? Yeah, I am 50. Oh, okay, thank you. Thanks for reminding me about that. Simon Knox saying you can't be very far from the Cadbury factory where you are. Now that is not, I'm going to have to take these off because that is not PPE, I don't think. Or is it? Is it? Is that a big stack of cardboard boxes that I'm just not seeing very well? That's wooden crate, isn't it? So that's general cargo right there, and that's a also. Don't think this is PPE, folks. I think this is general freight that's coming off of this aircraft. Paul Jones, happy birthday for Tuesday when it eventually arrives. Sam Beck, there you go. Crazy. It's like when you hear a radio presenter on TV, on the radio, obviously on the radio, and you never get to see them in person. You just build up this idea of what they look like in your mind, don't you? And you see them, and you expect this like massive, great big bloke of about 6'8", and he's like about 3'9", and but it's funny. Okay, so yes, this is definitely crated freight, and you can see the way that they make these crates. The upper angled section is for the so that they can fit it perfectly within the fuselage, side by side. So you can see that 45-degree. It's definitely all the same type of crates coming off. That may be PPE, but just packaged in a different way. There's a lot of big stuff coming out of it, whatever it is. I was. December 63. Late December back in 60. Oh dear. Okay, right. Oh, well, that's all right then. So I'm 66 now. 67 in December. 56. Oh, flipping heck. 57 in December. Okay. Yeah. Wow, look at that. 2 pallets coming down on that scissor jack. Scissor lift, should I say. Wow. So the aircraft itself, I mean, it's a little bit of a sort of like confusing stat to say that it has a capability of around 30,000 packages. Has a range of around about 4,200 nautical miles, a cargo capacity of 307,000 pounds, which equates to around just over 150 tons capability for freight on this aircraft, which is really impressive when you think a 777 200 freighter, you're looking around about 90 tons. So 60 tons more freight capability in terms of weight on the 747 compared to the 777 200 freighter. Quite impressive, really. 442 ton maximum takeoff weight. That's pretty impressive, man. So all up, we're talking about that would be more, I would imagine, when you're talking about passenger, a full passenger contingent with all the freight, with its belly freight, with passengers, with fuel, and with, of course, the baggage as well. So 442 tons. That's pretty incredible, pretty impressive, it has to be said. So like I said, the angled tops are specifically as they are shaped ergonomically for the interior of the 747. That's how they will pack stuff. That's why you see unit load devices, the ULDs, are actually shaped as they are. So this one going back to Leipzig. Thank you, Sam Beck, for that. Interesting. Wow. Popular walking spot here, has to be said. So what other carriers use the 747-8? Well, of course, as we all know, Lufthansa, Korean, which we've seen at Heathrow a couple of times. Well, quite a few times. Of course, Cargo Lux, Cathay Pacific Cargo, UPS, these guys at ABC. Extremely popular aircraft in terms of freight capabilities and range and what it's able to carry, you know, in terms of large freight, as well as the fact that it is a nose load aircraft, so therefore it's obviously able to carry out much more specific freight operations than something that just has the side loading capability. Although saying that, the 777 you can get even the GE9X engine into the side of a 777-200 just about. Tight squeeze, I think. So they say around about 2,890 metres, 9,492 foot runway here at East Midlands. In comparison, I think the longest runway at Heathrow is let's just have a look, because I thought it was around about 12,000 feet. Yeah, there we go. 12,000 feet for London Heathrow. So 3,000 foot shorter here at East Midlands. Quite a surprise, really. Eileen the Kiddie, good day to you. And Trish, thank you also to Trish and Jilly for sticking it out last night with the air show. That's that first load being taken down to the warehouse facility, or just to be remotely parked. Just judging by the shape of these containers, or the I don't think they are actual physical containers, unless maybe they are. Are they aluminium? So he's driven all the way down there and he's come all the way back. So literally had to turn around. To the they look very much like containers, actually. Are they hard cased containers, or yeah, I think they are. Yeah, they are. I think they are. So I know that DHL have been involved with PPE shipments, so perhaps they are PPE, perhaps it is PPE. Still coming off, whatever it is. Oh, Rob Shaw, yes, they are containers there, AMXs and one AMJ. Well, there we go. So they are containers, specific containers. So yeah. So cargo containers, but what is inside those containers is the big question. Of course, whatever it is probably none of our business, but I'm imagining it's PPE purely because it has got DHL. It is a DHL branded container. So let's just Stephen Carter, they're called flight pods. Interesting. Okay, let's just have a little look at that. AMXs and AMJs. Okay, let's just have a little look here. I love learning this stuff from people. AMX container pod, let's call it. AMX. Okay, the AMX is a single base main deck cargo container that fits perfectly in the Boeing 777F and can be easily interlined with the Boeing 747 freighter. So there we are, it's an AMX Nordisk version, a Nordisk Aviation, sorry. So that's from Nordisk Aviation. That's also got, so they are clear clear pallets, clear. Now the reason why they do it clear as well is so that the customs and the loaders can see what's inside. So they have a clear perspex lining. So now should theoretically be able to see what is loaded inside there. Of course they're covered in plastic at the moment, so again, it's very difficult to see, but they did use those. We did see those in operation on the 767s with UPS last time we were here. You could quite clearly see what was inside there, obviously packed up with Amazon boxes and and so on and so forth. But the ones that I'm looking at here are indeed AMX, the AMX single base main deck cargo container. So standard design includes aluminium sheets, which is obviously flooring. I'd imagine they have a certain load capacity in terms of weight. Forkliftable base, so you can forklift them as well. Quick zip rope net. A cover net, of course, a shelf if they want it, transparent panels, and cargo floor. So, you know, quite a significant piece of kit, specific for its for its usage. IATA specification is AMX. 2.4 meters by 3.175. I'd imagine that's probably height and width. Track day. So that was the AMX, and the other one was he said it here somewhere. Shelly Jackson telling me I'm 56, not 57. Oh, okay, Tom Smith. Yes, that is. DHL is big at Hong Kong, East Midlands and Liège, and of course this is headed to Liège after this as well. So is that containers just being moved into position there, or is that to come onto the aircraft, or is it being fully offloaded? Tom Smith, it's all DHL ULDs. Okay, unit load devices. Well, I mean, there are different specific names for these boxes, called for these ULDs. But I guess I was under the impression that ULD was the smaller. That was a ULD there, much smaller. Whereas these, of course, are the larger type, the AMX. ULDs, I think, in general, just have. God, he's. I'll tell you what, he's orange. He's bloody. Hey, up. Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. Look what Angela's brought. Thank you. Oh, that's very kind. Here you go. I'll grab it off you here. 2 packs of mini rolls. I bet if I bring it back out, I think they're just going to go. They're just melt, wouldn't they? Oh, and I've got a nice cappuccino. Oh, that's nice, actually. Jilly says hello. Okay, so is that a load more? No, I think that's still coming off. So AMX versus ULDs, obviously. Off to Leipzig. That nice. Mini roll delivery. There we go. Thank you so much, Dane Grayson. Dane Grayson, could they not just be operating a flight on behalf of DHL? Yeah, I'm guessing that this is probably DHL have in some way leased this aircraft or working with ABC. I'm not exactly sure, because obviously when you have an operation like this, there are a number of different links in the chain which I've definitely dealt with on previous shows when we've been organising something, especially knowing that when there's a break in that chain, the show basically comes to an absolute grinding halt and you're not able to do anything, which is a great shame. But when you're dealing with charter brokers and different companies that are involved in that chain, sometimes it's quite complex. And so this particular aircraft may well have been chartered by DHL, working on behalf of. In fact, much like the 777 that we see on Flight Radar, which is a DHL aircraft, but it's got the what's the name of it's the yellow. What is it, Julie? The one. What is it, Julie? The what is it? The yellow. Yeah, with the yellow tail. Not Condor. Just trying to think of the 777 that we see operating on behalf of DHL quite a lot. Aerologic, that's it. Yeah, and I think that either that there was a 777 in here earlier, possibly with operated by Aerologic on a wet, as in utilising their air crew, but DHL leased by DHL, I think, something like that. Okay. I should tell everybody I'm really into diamonds, shouldn't I, really? I like diamonds all of a sudden. Rolex watches or something. I know, I'm only joking. But guys, literally, you don't need to bring me food, throw food at me. I'll start, that's funny. Can't beat a good mini roll. Okay, I will bring the mini rolls into shot at some point, folks, so that you're fully aware that those people overseas, of course, will have all our American friends and maybe even the Aussies. Maybe have an Aussie variant of the mini roll, or an American variant of the mini roll. But Cadbury's are very well known for sort of like. What's that? It's what? Right, okay, Aerologic is 50-50 Lufthansa and DHL. Okay, so So what's Aerologic then? What's Aerologic then? What's Aerologic then? As in the name of the company, Aerologic. Is it a joint? You say a joint enterprise between Lufthansa and DHL, but Aerologic are a company in themselves, aren't they? So is there we go. There. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So even though it's called Aerologic, it is actually it's a company that's been created by a joint venture between DHL and Lufthansa. Wow, that's interesting. Oh, interesting. I'll tell you what, it was interesting to read a couple of weeks ago was that Frankfurt, the Frankfurt freight section is now going to be handled by an off-site handling agent as opposed to Lufthansa Cargo themselves. I think Lufthansa or Frankfurt are going to be taking care of the animal movements, like horses and so on and so forth that they do at Frankfurt. But obviously, you know, it's all about profit and loss, isn't it? It's all about profit, the margins, and who wants to take care of what operation, because obviously it's quite complex. It's logistically it's a very complex business. Paul MK, I can get mini rolls when I'm in Los Angeles from an English store in Fullerton. There was an English store in near Hollywood that I used to get my my English stuff from. Oh no, Twinkies were all right, but not in volume, not in the kind of volume that I'm used to eating them. Polar ABX and ATI do flights for DHL. Yeah, I mean, really, to be honest with you, it is it's such a wide span of business, the freight industry, especially somebody like DHL, because especially these last few years where e-commerce has just literally gone through the roof. You've only got to look on Google Earth. Trevina, Jerry's keeping cameras in business. You've only got to look on Google Earth to the left of me, folks, to the north east of the airfield, and you will see the huge facility there, which I think is primarily Amazon Prime. Dan Grayson, yes, of course, the best ones are the ones with jam in, of course, but anyway, I'm not going to keep talking about mini rolls. Dawn Daffin, shed effect, are we talking about? Well, the thing is that here at London, here at East Midlands is exactly the same runway, I think. It's 27 left and 09 right, isn't it? With that being the case, looks like we're going to have a direct headwind straight down the middle of the runway at London Heathrow a little bit later on. As soon as this 747 goes, we're going to pack and go. But should expect it. It did arrive more or less on time, wasn't it? So 3:30 now. Flying Panther. Sleepy Luskin. Yes, indeed. Now, what you've got to appreciate, ladies and gents, is that the current conditions, even though it's windy out there on the ramp, it's far more favourable than, you know, cold, freezing winter conditions in the rain as well. These guys don't stop if it's hammering down with rain. They've got to continue on with the operation. So big props to these guys, it has to be said. A sturdy bunch. Flybag 64, the company I work for, has rail freight flows that serve East Midlands Airport. There we go. What's that annoying knocking sound, Ron Clark saying? Well, oh, there it is there. I think that might be it there. I think I've possibly stopped that. Ron? Rocket Ron? Ron Aslam, I'm talking about. Maybe that's also another annoying knocking noise that has it stopped? Nobody else was that, isn't it? It is that that's flapping on there. Right, let me disconnect that. Yeah, okay. That has been disconnected now. So Rocket Ron, has that made things a little bit easier, a little bit better for your hearing pleasure? Andrew Cooper asking about BA31 last night. Answer to that, Andrew, is and thank you, by the way, for your support. The BA31, nobody had no feedback. Had no feedback about the aircraft in terms of its technical problems, but we do understand that it was it has been on radar this morning, but that's probably towing it from maintenance, possibly down to gate. Or please don't mention the F1, folks. Even if it's the slightest. I didn't see anything. No. Yeah. Even if it's, I know you guys like to talk about it, but just to have a little bit of understanding that I've got it on record. So if I can, I'd like to watch it without knowing what the result is or anything like that, or how good it was or how bad it was or anything like that. Just otherwise, I just have to not look at the comments, which would be a great shame. Of course, I wouldn't want to do that. Hope I fixed the knocking noise. Is Rocket Ron able to confirm that? Okay. So, are we offloaded? Are we offloaded? Question is what's going on here? Okay, interesting. Right. Winds are great, but you know. Sorry, man. I don't know, about another 40 minutes, I think, something like that. Yeah, good question. Good question, that Vera Skibbum. Why is the ABC 747 registered in Bermuda? That's interesting, isn't it? Do they have any more to come off of this? Is there anything going on it? Is she going to go out empty to Leipzig? All these questions will be revealed. Timmy Toothpicks, the aircraft is leased. Oh, okay, so Bermuda company owns it. So when she was new 3 years ago, was she owned? Did she go straight to ABC? Bobby Fitzsimmons, tax reasons. There you go. That sort of makes sense, doesn't it? So you can see quite a considerable amount of sort of like paraphernalia surrounding the aircraft. Wow, these winds are crazy, man. Got to be somewhere in the region of a 20-mile-an-hour headwind, I would say. Of course, somewhere where we're going to look to visit in the future, folks, just over to our right here, is the EMA Aviation Park, which has got some quite good exhibits, one including, notably, the Vulcan. That's a Nimrod there. Same as what they've got at the AVP at Manchester. Scott Tobley, El Al, grounded all aircraft, to be perfectly honest. I don't want to know about the result, ladies and gentlemen. Please don't say things like, you know, we have a winner or anything like that. Please, guys, you know, have a little bit of understanding that, you know, I like my Formula One. I want to sit there and watch the race. It's all okay for you guys. I mean, I can appreciate, you know, people get excited and all that sort of stuff, and, you know, they want to let everybody else know or discuss it or something like that. But it'd be great if you guys could keep it from discussions here on the chat today. Discuss it all you like on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Going to be live on Monday, by the way, folks, which is tomorrow, isn't it? It is tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah, got our good friend Damo going out, coming in and going out on the Emirates 777-300. New position tomorrow, ladies and gents. I say new position. It's an old new position, or new old position. So it's quite a complex sort of like, you know, setup in terms of aircraft ownership, leasing these aircraft. You have wet lease, you have dry lease, you have damp lease. Different organisations that own the aircraft that they're leased from, chartered, so on and so forth. Specialists, some companies are just specialist charter companies that will operate for companies who are looking to fly personnel overseas and so on and so forth. So it's so many different variations and different areas of the aviation world beyond just the passenger stuff. Incoming on finals. What's that incoming on finals? Dyer saying incoming on finals. Okay, let me just have a look. Why don't I just look myself? Okay, got a... Oh, that's interesting. These things stop. So I've got a 737 on finals from Gran Canaria, and here she comes now. So that's why we're waiting. That one is waiting where it is. All this excitement for 737. And there's another one inbound from Nantes. I think it is Nantes, is it? Oh no. No, that's wrong. This is a small little EMB 505 inbound, and that 737 is going out to Fuerteventura. I got that wrong because I was looking at the wrong. I was looking at the wrong airport. So that's another. So is that Embraer? Yeah, it is Embraer. Possibly diverted from Leeds Bradford. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's possible, isn't it? Yeah, not handbags in like as in your old grandma's handbag, but yeah, all respect to grandmas, of course, but you know, well, I'm waiting for a delivery of one of those little shoulder strap bags, aren't I? The man bag. Well, it's not a man bag, is it? Because it's quite small, isn't it? It's more a sort of like, you know, something to carry your charger in and your phone in and all that sort of. It's going to help me immensely when I travel overseas, rather than stuffing a load of stuff all in my pockets. So I just put everything in that. Shoulder bag, isn't it? It's just called a shoulder bag, isn't it? But a small one. They call it on this. Well, they call it on the shop wall, but. Sorry. Yeah. Still stuff coming out. Wow. Flypad 64 location is fantastic, isn't it? Looked it up on I basically looked it up on Google Earth and then dropped the position on Waze, and here I am. It brought me straight here. Great navigation aid is Waze, folks, if you drive. Available all over the world. It's a sort of like, I wouldn't say it's a social media navigational system, but it's certainly, you help other Wazers by informing them when there is an incident or traffic, and a bit like you can on Google, but it's just a little bit softer, a little bit nicer to use is Waze. W-A-Z-E is what you want to look for in your app store. Jet ski Matty wishes he was on his way to Fuerteventura, as I'm sure a lot of people are wishing as well. Wow. Stevie Luskin had a BOAC bag in the 60s as well as an Air France one, very chic. There was a young lad, wasn't there, at Heathrow a couple of weeks ago who had with a BOAC bag, wasn't it? Was it BOAC? I think it was, wasn't it? Do we do any sort of like, you know, I'm sure they do some, you know, because they're quite cheap and cheerful, but it's the shoulder strap that's important, isn't it? It's a bit like anything these days, you know. You don't want something that's just going to fall apart and be very sort of like flimsy and brittle in no time. I just can't help but think, but that nobody can hear me talking because of the wind. I do. Yes, cross body bag. That's it. Yeah. There we go. Ooh, body bag. It's very pleasant when the wind actually drops, even if it is for a brief moment. Doing well on Facebook and YouTube, of course. Just got to show you this thing. Look at the little doggy. He's had enough, hasn't he? What's the get his ears being blown around all over the gap. Oh, brilliant, man. Angela Cooper, Ryanair in from Pisa, 10 minutes. Thank you very much indeed. Angela, of course. Terry Slater's got a Pan Am flight bag. I mean, if we can do one and make the logo a bit sort of like old, you know, like the. Did you? By the way, we did order the military shirts, didn't we, Jenny? Okay. Because I think we should do, if we're gonna do the bags, you know, the big old school sort of like, you know, those plastic ones. Say a minute there. We should offer them with those sorts of logos on them. You know what I mean? Like, you know, old school sort of. What's the name of that? Okay. G. Nyman, welcome to first class, G. Nyman. Terry Slate's got a Pan Am flight bag. Mini roll logo. Yeah, also folks, saw some reports last night about Qantas flying into London Heathrow in the... What, it's over a 3-day period, or it's doing a tour, basically, the retirement of the Qantas 747, they're doing a tour. 13th, 15th and 17th. What? Each of those days it's coming into Heathrow? Really? So where's it going between the 15th, the 13th, the 15th, and then what's it doing between... Yeah, but that doesn't make sense. It doesn't. What I'm saying is it's coming in on the 13th, 15th. Okay. Delta flight bag, Brody Wolf saying. We could basically do anything. You can have whatever you want printed on the bag, ladies and gents. Chargy bag. Check. What about a mini roll flight bag? Augusta Rhymes. Can't hear you, too windy, mate. Well, I think we can. Maybe want to turn it up a little bit, Augusta, or yeah. Jerry for ambassador for Catherine Mini Road. Stevie Luscombe used the BOAC 70s logo, would be so cool. Yeah, I mean, why not? It's any opportunity, whatever you want, print it on the bag, ladies and gents. Just let us know what you want. Tell us what you're... obviously, you need to send us the artwork, or at least steer us towards it. You know, send us a link to an image or something like that on Google. Is the best place to look, and then we can obviously do what we can for you there. David Kavanagh, there's been no news from Qantas about this. Okay, well, David, we have had it from other sources, but we will of course confirm it nearer the time. Wow. I think he was joking, Jilly. I think he was joking. Yeah. What about a Jerry bag? Oh, really? Oh. Karen Corcoran, how do I get BJTV from my iPad onto the TV? Anyone know? Well, should have a casting little icon there, Karen. John Carley's back now at home watching the rest of the show. Looking forward to LHR later as well. John Carley, good to meet you, my friend. Anthony Barry. Stevie Lusker, BEA indeed did used to do a flight bag. I don't know why we don't just call it a flight bag. What's that, mate? Okay, thanks, man. Yeah, we should just call it a flight bag. That's what it is, isn't it? Yeah. And then people can have whatever design they want on it. We'll just put a couple of examples up, shall we? You know. Or put a carousel of options up. Look at that. See, now there's another perfect example, folks, of two companies working in collaboration, West Atlantic and DHL. So it might be that DHL own a part of West Atlantic, or that they've got some kind of a agreement running with them. But as you can see there, I think that aircraft has actually just come from maintenance. I think it's just come from that hangar over there. So possibly that's a maintenance hangar over there. mostly do the island route, isn't it? West Atlantic. GN man, yes, for Anchorage is definitely on the cards. No doubt about it. As soon as we can fly there, we're there. I mean, if I could fly to Anchorage now and I had to spend 2 weeks in quarantine when I got back, I think we could live with that, to be honest with you, because with the amount of traffic that they get out in Anchorage, but the beauty of it is that you don't just get jumbo jets. Like when I actually spoken with the guys out at Anchorage, and they're more than happy to accommodate us. But one of the discussions that we did have, and he said, you could be out here and you've got a line of 747s with a DC-3, you know, in between them in the lineup. Just an incredible sort of like, you know, eclectic mix of aircraft out there in Anchorage. So this is, I think, going down to the west hub. See, that's the tail of West Atlantic down there, ladies and gentlemen, that you can see there. That's 737. As you can see, the similarity of the logo, the tail livery. It's getting there, is it, or just the logistics of getting there, or? Oh yes, that's right. Yeah. We've got to ask. We've got to talk to Terry about that. To Teradek about core, haven't we? It's Teradek we've got to talk to about that, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Or wasn't one of the routes going into Portland and then Anchorage? Isn't it Portland and then Anchorage? Oh, Seattle, right? Yeah. 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 Yes. Easy, son. Easy. Smoothly executed by a Ryanair pilot. Fair play, mate. Very busy little hub here in the holiday season, folks. Obviously this year been massively affected, but hopefully going to start seeing them getting back to some type of normality in terms of operations for the passenger market. I've got to say one thing that I was really quite surprised at on my way up here. Stopped off at the Watford Gap services, as you know. Just use the restroom and also do that little link. But when I got myself a Costa coffee, not a big fan of the Costa because it's quite milky, but you know, that's one thing. But obviously they had all the screens up and so on and so forth. The young girl serving finished my coffee, and then just asked me if I want any sugar or any chocolate sprinkles and all that sort of stuff. Like, no, I'm interested in all of that. But she then proceeded to take the cap, you know, the top of the cup, the plastic cap, and put it on, and of course, pushing down on the cap to get it onto the cup, she pushed her thumb right over the mouthpiece of the cap. So I'm like, what is the point? I've said, excuse me, do you mind, could you give me another cap? She looks at me with a sort of like, you know, confused face, and I'm like, I didn't want to say anything. It's just like, well, you know, love, how do I know whether you wash your hands all the time or whatever? You might pick your nose or something like that, and you just put your thumb straight over the which you're not supposed to do, really. I think I've seen them putting applying the cap of the cup, using just the tips of their fingers to do it around the rim, so that they don't touch the mouth area where your mouth is going to be. But even so, I think really a lot of the gas stations are doing it now, where they basically give you the option of putting the cap on yourself. They give you the cup, and then you basically put the cap on yourself. But again, you have to think of things like, you see, now that is general freight. That's definitely general freight coming off there. You have to obviously think of things like, it's all about hygiene when we're talking about stuff like this. That person, forgive me for saying it, but I just don't trust anyone in terms of, and it may not be through any fault of their own, but in terms of like personal hygiene and stuff like that, it's very, very difficult to maintain a perfectly, unblemished hygiene record throughout a day, throughout any specific. What's it got? No. But I think this is a ambulance helicopter, isn't it? So, yes. Is that something going in? There we go. So they're loading freight now. But what I was talking about, folks, was just, you have to think about, it's a timeline, isn't it? The whole hygiene thing. Sorry about that. It is a timeline. So you just need to be very aware of, the fact that. Here's a perfect example, which I was really surprised to see. McDonald's was open using social distancing, but the big screens, the big touch screens that you use when you go in to order your food. And I've got the same sort of beef with the likes of Sainsbury's and Tesco's, your personal checkout, your individual checkout stations, where, they insist that people have screens between them, but people are still touching these screens with their fingers. Now, you know, I can't say I've seen it happen, but just imagine, you know, a bunch of, say, you know, teenagers or 20-something-year-olds coming in a coach party or whatever, or even a couple of teenagers with their mum and dad. You know, off they go to the toilets, use the toilets. Generally these days, teenagers, you know, in general, are a little bit sort of like lackadaisical when it comes to personal hygiene, you know, washing their hands and so on and so forth. So let's just take a 50% across the board look at it, like, you know, 50% of those kids, like, one of them will and one of them won't. Well, what's the chance then of one of them, they then go to McDonald's to order to get their food, and what have they got in front of them? A big screen, isn't it? What are they doing? They're putting their fingers all over that screen, yeah? So the one who hasn't washed his hands, I don't want to, if you're eating your Sunday lunch and all that, I don't want to talk about the kind of stuff that they have found on these screens, which you know, I always remember a Top Gear show where they had some scientists go in there, and they took some carpet fibres or whatever it was, you know, some tests of the carpet inside, and also swabs from like the steering wheel and the handbrake and the areas, the handles of the doors where people handle. And these guys, the Top Gear guys, had each bought an old car basically, and the stuff that they found on the inside that car was stuff that would basically make you squirm. Now, think about the fact that those touch screens at Sainsbury's, yeah, I use my knuckles when I select the card. You know, everything's done contactless, you know, with the barcode, beep 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 and all that, but when it comes to pay, you know, I use my knuckle, and then of course when I go back, I clean. I've got the mask on. What's that? Oh, is it? Thank you. See, I'm very, very conscious when I go into these, when I go into the stores. But you know, if I'm buying, even when I buy my alcohol-free beer, you know, I have to have it. I have to have my age checked by the attendant. She comes along. I've done all the knuckle things. She comes along, fingers all over the screen, bit bop, bit bop, bit bop, like that, and then she walks off, you know, and just stands there, and then you know, has a little scratch of her nose. How many other people have touched that screen before she touched it? It just does boggle the mind to think that the easiest way to transmit diseases is on surfaces like that. And I just find it very, very surprising that the likes of Sainsbury's and Tesco's and all the other places like McDonald's have not updated their staff, educated their staff, kitted out their staff with some kind of I've seen some of the checkout staff using this little, like a pencil with a rubber on the end of it, to use that instead of their fingers. Very, very simple, very basic, very straightforward, and it just does amaze me that people are so blasé that they'll queue up and touch a screen that has been, there's no one cleaning the screens, no one wiping the screens, nothing like that. So it just does amaze me that people will be so sort of like, you know, lackadaisical when it comes to personal hygiene like that. And I know a lot of you guys and girls are very, very conscious and very careful about your personal hygiene. That's why I don't feel so bad about talking about it to my members, because I know that you guys all generally tend to agree in principle that it's basically common sense that that will overpower something like the coronavirus. It's common sense, isn't it? Which is why in some countries that common sense is more a case of like, I'm all right, Jack, I'm too good to have to wear a face mask, don't tell me what to do, sort of thing. When you get that sort of attitude, you're in trouble, is the way I see it. But anyway, back to the aeroplanes. Dane Grayson, I know, I agree with you about the loose fruit and veg, yes. Darren Smith, petrol pumps are bad too. I've got a set of gloves in the van. Basically, I've got a set of gloves that I always put on, even before coronavirus, just because of the smelly. You get diesel on the petrol pump handle, and it stinks basically. So that's why I always wear gloves when I go into the petrol station, and especially now. Not gloves as in like granddad's old leather gloves. I'm talking about a pair of mechanics gloves that I've got in the van, always ready. God bless you. Talking about Costa. It's just common sense, isn't it? Utilise the wind more on the in conditions like these. Wow, look at that dead stop almost. It does amaze me that the likes of Ryanair and EasyJet and people like that are still able to fly, because in general, especially the likes of EasyJet, don't carry any freight as far as I'm aware. They don't have freight carrying capability. I think it's just all about passengers. So you can imagine why those guys are so keen to get back in the air as quickly as they are. Cargo Logic 737 there, folks. Available for charter, for cargo flights. Anybody wants to hire it, or lease it, or whatever it is you want to do, utilise it. Still, is that more still? Surely that's not coming up. Is that just gone on, or? Simon Knock, yeah, indeed, that was an extremely short landing. Sam Beck, amazes me how quickly they stop. Yeah, well, again, when you think about it, you've got all that forward momentum of the wind. You know that the wind is one thing, so the ground spoilers are going to be twice as effective. Of course, your reversers if you want them, and then of course the brakes. So all of those things combined together with a very strong headwind would mean that obviously, yeah, if the aircraft's light, she's going to come to a stop pretty damn quick. Especially when you've got somebody at the controls, like these Ryanair crews, who know the airport really well. Mark Appleby. Well, we're expecting the 747 to depart in a couple of hours, is basically what we were told. Daniel Morgan, what time is it taking off? Yeah, indeed, and it is. What time did it come in? It came in at 2. What time did it come in, Julie? 30. Yeah. So she was parked over there by sort of like about 1:45, wasn't it? Started the offloading procedure. So about 3 o'clock, wasn't it? The whole offloading started around about 3 o'clock. So really, you would imagine 5 o'clock she should be turning around about 5 o'clock. Oh, Peugeot Dude and Son now. Okay, it's changed from Peugeot Dude and Son. It's now Peugeot. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we've got two people. One is Peugeot Dude and Son, and one is Peugeot Dude Wifey. So the wife and the husband are on two different memberships. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, what about the Peugeot family? Or is it Peugeot Dude and Son as in Peugeot the vehicle Peugeot, or is their surname Peugeot? Fitzy, good afternoon. Let's fly away. Daniel Morgan, Brody, Wolf, good afternoon. Paul Jones saying 5 p.m. Matt Rayner, 5 p.m. for the clap. Oh, not. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. 72 today for the NHS. Well, they definitely deserve a clap then. Wife and husband, there we are, Peugeot Dude and Son. Wow, Sue Lawson's son is a paramedic. Very funny, Dan Patton, that's funny. Kirk Edwards, Ed S, Dawn DeFern, MKR, Glenn Knowles, Phil Thorley. Okay, down here, this is a little bit of an update on the Qantas. On the Qantas, will operate 3 long-haul jumbo joy flights from Sydney, Brisbane, and Canberra on July 13th, 15th, and 17th. Tickets for the flights will go on sale at undisclosed hour on July the 7th. Wow. Okay. Okay, so jumbo, it's a little bit more clearer there, isn't it? They'll operate 3 one-hour-long jumbo joy flights from Sydney, Brisbane and Canberra. Okay. So that's nothing to do, that's completely nothing to do with the fact that they're coming to London Heathrow. So we don't know anything confirmed in terms of Heathrow at this stage. It's a long way to go, isn't it? But wow, what a sight that would be to see the 747 flying in. Wow. I mean, of course, it's been a long time since we saw Qantas. The last time would have been their Dreamliner, wouldn't it? Of course, the A380 is something that we used to have at London Heathrow. But wow, what a nostalgic moment that would be to see the 747 back at London Heathrow, even if it was for a short time. I can't think how that works out logistically in terms of the routing, because obviously coming from, they'd have to do a world tour with it, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they have to do a world tour with it? I don't know. I think Dirty Neil is standing behind the van. Oh, there's Dirty Neil over there. He's asking if I can give a shout out to Dirty Neil. There he is, there's Dirty Neil there. Brilliant, man. I don't think he really liked that very much. And road and MTB bikes. I won't bore the planet with it, although this is the only way I can get the wife to chat back with me. Okay, so road and MTB mountain bikes as well. Oh, cool. A380 Qantas is at Melbourne Airport currently. At TCC, you're right. Qantas do things in style. What a retirement plan! Well, hopefully, yeah, that will be a global farewell tour for the 747. Oh, they're closing the door, folks. They're closing the door. So that is. So we don't have to what? For what? Got a new member there, Keith Booth. Welcome to First Class, Keith. Thank you for joining us here on Big Jet TV. Kind of looks, even though it is massive, it looks kind of small in the whole grand scheme of things. So that's definitely all that equipment now can be moved away and prepare for departure, really. Oh, that door's now shut. Now we're looking for the okay. Bulldog 617 hearing a possible B-52 deployment at Fairford in September unless they cancel again. Fairford, yeah, been up there, went there last year, didn't I? But I just did an airside piece that was on. But I wouldn't go there again and do that, to be perfectly honest. Say it, Ed. I wouldn't go there and do that again, to be perfectly honest with you. I'd rather stand outside the gates and film it live, rather than sort of like be airside, even though I was invited there by the guys there at Fairford. Thank you very much indeed for that. But we're all about live here as much as we possibly can be, and whatever we organise and arrange, if anybody contacts us to do something post-production, to be honest with you, it's not something that really interests me that much. Wow, Diesel 13, first plane I flew on was a Qantas 747. Neil Gandy, good afternoon to you. So, near me, really. Blowing a gale. Okay. Wow. That's gotta be 25 mile an hour, that wind. And then look at the sun, man. That's gotta be 25 mile an hour. And then what's it saying at the moment? Whereabouts? Oh, really? Okay. There you go. There you go. So I was bang on with a 25 mile an hour then, wasn't I? Fortunately, I've got the microphone is shielded by the actual Terry case itself, the top of the Terry case, so that, you know, to minimise that that wind. So, of course, look at that, crew door is shut, steps are being moved away. This thing's going. Should see the APU fire. Don't know if they actually shut the APU down, to be honest with you. I have been airside with a few 747s before where the APU's been running constantly. That's a very interesting one. Yeah, looks like it's blowing a hoolie everywhere around the UK at the moment. Very unseasonal these winds, it has to be said, for July anyway. Craig Hicks asking for a shout out to my daughter Stacey Armstrong from Farnborough, who's watching Big Jet TV today. Stacey, from your dad Craig, Stacey in Farnborough. Talking about Farnborough, got the Farnborough Air Show shortcuts edit, going to be releasing that probably tomorrow morning, I would have thought, just to keep you guys entertained until the next show. However, there is a show tomorrow, so we won't be doing it tomorrow, we'll be doing it Tuesday. The van's in to have its rear brake pads done on Tuesday, so there's no show on Tuesday, it's guaranteed. Unless you're expecting me to ride my bike down to Heathrow. Okay, well, nav lights are on, or anti-collisions, I'm guessing is the right description, but nav lights obviously are the red and green end of the wing, i.e. So she's just about ready to go, we think. No, you can't hear engines firing up, Carrie. You might be able to hear some motorcycle engines from nearby Donington racetrack. It is a track day at Donington today. I don't know why I zoomed out there. I've got no idea why I zoomed out. Here she goes. On push now. Possible we might hear those Gen X engines firing up, but we'll see. So that was literally a 2 hour turnaround, wasn't it? Give or take, actually a little bit less when you consider the time that they actually started offloading the freight. It's hard to hold that, bro. Actually, look. Where's he come from? I think it might, I don't know. He's just come out of goal, hasn't he? Fair play to the geezer. That is brilliant. That is fun. It is fun. Is that now with a massive marker pen or something? I don't know. I don't know. It's absolutely brilliant. made his own shirt, hasn't he? Yeah. Fantastic. Here we go. She's on. Yeah. I've got Sharpie with me though. Oh, I think he's done it long before then, man. He's done that. Yeah, he's done. I quite like it. I quite like it. Yeah. I think it's cool. Yeah, 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 yeah. to go? Intersect, or is he going to go full length? It's full length. Has to say, the most impressive part of that was how quiet it was. Wow. That was just so quiet, man. Wow, she's high already. There it is, mate. There it is. Right. Okay. Okay. Let's do a closeout quick, Jilly, just so that before everybody wants to do their little clap for the NHS, folks. We're on our way down to Heathrow now. It's got a few goodbyes to say here, especially to the fella who's just made his own shirt. Absolutely fantastic. We will see you at Heathrow in a couple of hours. Give us a little bit of time to break down and all that sort of stuff, and we'll see you in a short while. See you later. Bye. 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 Say goodbye to everybody yet. Okay, Chiefy, go for cut.